would not only take them off the foot of the table, but also out of the relegation zone. Just one victory here at home all season, and that came all the way back in September. Now under the charge of Ruben Selles, who has been handed the responsibility to lead the Tigers to survival. Today could be the day in which he picks up his first win since coming to the club. Luke Williams damning in his assessment of his players' mentality after they surrendered a 2-goal lead at home to Sunderland last Saturday. Scared to fulfil their potential were the words used by the Swansea boss, who said his side were miles off being a top 6 team. Will those players respond with a performance that could take Swansea to within 4 points of the playoff places?
12, João Pedro.
So let's take a look at the teams here this lunchtime. Ruben Selles makes 2 changes from the side that started last Saturday's defeat away at Coventry City. Alfie Jones comes into the defence in place of Sean McLaughlin, as Gustavo Puerta takes the place of Casey Palmer, who is not involved in the matchday squad today. João Pedro had gone 5 games without a goal before scoring at Coventry last weekend, and Hull will need plenty more to come from him. As for Luke Williams, 2 alterations from the team which began last Saturday's surrender to Sunderland at home. Jay Fulton, who scored on his last start at Plymouth, comes into the side in place of Gonçalo Franco, whilst the other tweak to the team sees Om Ji-sung start in place of Ronald, who drops down to the bench. Ian Cullen playing it deeper right now and prospering. He has 6 goals so far this season. Fine form right now, Dave, and this deeper role seems to bring the best out of him.
He's a terrific talent, he really is, and he's come back from international duty in November, scored 2 goals for his Welsh team against Iceland, playing in more of a number 8 role. We're getting lots of space in behind the opposition midfield, and since then he's come back into some flying form for the Swans, scoring 4 in 6. Big talent. He's one to watch today. At the other end, the man who's going to try and stop him, Ivo Pandor, is actually in very good form himself. He won Player of the Month in November for his Hull City team, made a lot of important saves, and goalkeeper is not one of the problems for Hull City at the moment. He has a lot of composure and calmness, and he'll be hoping he doesn't have as much work as he's had to do in recent games.
Just the 1 clean sheet so far this season for Ivo Pandor, but it doesn't tell the story. Thomas Bramall, the man in charge here at the MKM Stadium. Selles, can he lead Hull City to safety? He knows he has a big job on his hands. Changing the way that they played under Tim Volta, will it prove to be successful? Williams not happy with his players last weekend, but all those words that he bellowed out in the aftermath of that defeat against Sunderland had a response from his players here today. October the 1st, the last time Hull City picked up a win in the Championship. They've played 13 games since and seen themselves slip from 9th to the foot of the table. With despairing dive seeing Tim Volta dismissed, having only been appointed in the summer. João Pedro is down here for Hull City, and an early problem for them. He's crumpled in a heap right now, and it does look as if it's a real problem.
Yeah, worrying signs early on. João Pedro just gets caught by Darlin as he plays the ball. Bit of a sore, just an impact injury, so I'm sure he'll be okay. But Ruben Selles will be really hoping his side can start well. Their home form has been so disappointing this year, only 1 win. It'll be important to try and get this crowd behind them with some exciting attacking football and try and build some momentum from there.
Ruben Selles saying that he wants a team who play very vertical, very aggressive and attacking, and that aggressive nature, Dave, certainly something we saw from his Reading team.
Yeah, I saw Reading on a number of occasions this season, and the way they press is very, very aggressive, lots of intensity. And when you see the way Swansea want to build out from the back, you'll see that, well, you imagine Ruben Selles will set up his side to really go and press them high up the pitch and force them into mistakes as they're trying to build out. Uses the wingers when he's pressing as well at Reading. On this occasion, Ryan Longman and Abu Kamara will be key to that. João Pedro just dropping in, you can almost see it there, the wingers just waiting to go. That was a key thing that he used to do at Reading, Ruben Sellers.
Reading, the side that he left, well positioned in League One. A big blow for them to lose him, fighting against the odds there. So many problems going on behind the scenes. It's not all plain sailing at Hull City either, but he said when he came to the club he had a really good meeting with the chairman, Adjun Ilagela. He feels that they're on the same page, but there is a very difficult task ahead. Swansea unbeaten in their last 3 away games. On the other side, we will expect Dave to try and be on the ball as much as they can. A high possession team under Luke Williams.
Yeah, so they like to dominate the ball, and that in turn dominate the game, try and control the tempo of it. But hold themselves under Tim Volter. They wanted to try and dominate the ball. It didn't work too well and gave away far too many simple goals. But Ruben Sellers himself will like to keep possession, but will have to have a purpose for him. Try and get that ball forward in the right moments.
I think we saw some football under Tim Volter that left a lot of people scratching their heads. The way that they look to work their way out from the back. It is a small sample size, but in the 2 games under Ruben Sellers, Hull's average possession has dropped down 16% from what it had been under Tim Volter. Big chance for Hull City today to make things start to look very different for them indeed. They have only picked up 3 victories so far this season, and they all came in successive games. The end of September and the opening day of October. How have they been waiting for a victory since then? Possession picked up by Puerta, sends it forward. Already we've seen a couple of examples of Hull looking to get the ball forward quickly.
Yeah, they will try to play through midfield, but when it does get to the likes of Alzate and Puerta, they'll get their heads up quickly and look for the runs of the wingers. Abu Kamara is a real talent out on that right-hand side. I think get the ball to him. If he's on form, he can really cause a lot of problems for that Swansea City defence.
I just saw Luke Williams there, and he said that his side couldn't be more bang on where they should be in the table. You wonder if he is just trying to fire up his players amongst the disappointment of what happened last weekend. Chance to come forwards here for Ryan Giles. Now Longman. He steps inside. Looks to thread one through, but it comes off Jay Fulton. Can Swansea start to get a grip of possession here? Kabamgo across to Harry Darling. 2 players that know each other very well. Both have started every single championship game for Swansea so far this season. It is a relatively consistent defensive unit selected by Luke Williams. His goalkeeper, Lawrence Vigoureau, has played every minute in the championship this season, as too has the right back Josh Key, who will look to get forward.
Yeah, he'll also look to just drift inside Josh Key in the build-up. We've seen it there, coming into central parts of the pitch to get on the ball. Allowing Peter Harris to be the one who really holds the width on this right-hand side, trying to create that overload in the centre of the pitch.
Free kick given away by Kamara. Testing times for Hull City, not a season they were expecting to have. Of course, they were so close to getting into the playoffs last season under Liam Rosenior. The surprise decision to part ways with him in the summer. An ambitious owner who demands much more from the players that he brings to the club. But sliding challenge goes in, the final touch. Coming off over on the far side, Louis Coyle. Player who's treading the tightrope today on 4 yellow cards. Could get Christmas off.
I'm sure he wouldn't want to do that. Andy, doesn't happen with footballers. But Louis Coyle, he'd be delighted to get that early tackle in. He had a difficult game away at Coventry.
Hull City coming forwards here. One just runs out of play. He's an important player, Louis Coyle, of course. He's played every single minute in the Championship for Hull City this season.
Yeah, and when you're in the position that they're in, you do want leaders. He's the captain, he's a local lad. He's really has been a beacon of consistency over the last few years for Hull, but form possibly dipping at the moment, but Russell still sees him the right option, that right back area, Cody Drama, who could possibly come in. But he's stuck with his captain. I say that early tackle will do him the world of good.
And here is Key in that central position that Dave mentioned a couple of moments ago. Of course, a tactic that we've seen used more and more in football over the last year or so. He's very effective at doing it as well, Josh Key, player who's not got an assist so far this season, but he's played big roles and had real input in Swansea's attacking play. Forwards, and it's Coyle who steps in, and then does he just catch Vipotnik there? Play allowed to continue. And now Hull City will have a free kick as Kamara's brought down.
Yeah, strong tackle again from Louis Coyle, and that sets up the attack. And it's time, and he brings down Kamara early. Good decision to make, really. If he's run onto that back four, you know he has the quality to really off-balance defenders and create that final opportunity.
You could see there as we were looking at that decision which gave Hull City a free kick. In the background, you could see Vipotnik was still down on the deck, just getting himself back into position now. So a set-piece opportunity here for Hull City, and it's a free kick which Stephen Alzate is standing behind. Free kick clipped forwards, and this ball will be picked up here by Giles. Giles again, we all know he's got a great left foot, sends it into the penalty area. Not the best of balls on this occasion. And Longman.
That's a shame for Hull, because we saw early signs of that counter press to give the ball away, but they quickly win it back. And it's just a sloppy pass back out to Ryan Giles from Alzate. And gives Swansea the opportunity to start building again, and that'll frustrate these Hull fans, because you can spend long periods of the ball when Swansea have it at the back, picking the right moment to press.
Darling into Fulton. Fulton, who's been praised by Luke Williams for his attitude and the way in which he came into the side and did a really good job against Plymouth 10 days ago. Key tight to the touchline this time, pushes it down the line. Piat Harris just gains possession back to Hull City. Here comes Regan Slater. Kamara. By Alzate. Kamara again. Joao Pedro, Ryan Longman waiting inside the penalty area, as too is Regan Slater. In comes the cross now, and it's headed high and away to the edge of the area by Josh Key.
Yeah, best passage of play so far from Hull, getting bodies up the pitch. When it does land at Louis Coyle's feet, it's an excellent ball into the box. And Hull City players really take advantage of it, though.
There's Longman. This cross cut out by Cabango. Away by Alfie Jones. So the barge in the back, indeed it was. Free kick to Hull.
Yeah, good decision from Alfie Jones. Wasn't sure whether to go back to the goalkeeper in the end, just clears his line. And he managed to win the foul then. Jay Fulton just a little bit too over-exuberant in the middle of the pitch.
Would have been disappointed last weekend, Jay Fulton, having started and scored against Plymouth, to then not get off the bench as things began to unravel at home to Sunderland. Figaro sends it out to the far side. Fulton into Cabango. Here's Key.
Swansea almost taunting Hull just to come out and try and press them. But Hull being very disciplined, just waiting for that moment, waiting for that loose pass. But you can see the work of Liam Cullen at the top of your screen. He's working right across that middle of the pitch, just trying to find space in behind that Hull City midfield. And just wait for the opportunity to try and get it to him. And as soon as it does go into Liam Cullen, then you expect Swansea to move fast with the ball.
He says he's really been enjoying playing in that deeper role, but it's Ryan Giles who wins possession back here for Hull City, and he's still going now. Longman. Cross swept in by Puerta. Kamara trying to get on the end of it.
And that's how Hull City will play. Stay patient when Swansea have the ball, but as soon as the opportunity comes to jump out and win the ball back like Ryan Giles does, then they'll go quickly. Strong, forceful, running from the left back, gets into the box. There's not quite enough movement though when that cross comes into the box. Kamara's on his heels a little bit. It's going to be a very difficult header from there. There's better intent though from Hull.
Ruben Selles taking charge for just the third game here, and the side were almost in there. Draw against Watford and a defeat against Coventry for him so far. Watching on as he always is, Adjun Ilagela. He made the decision to part ways with Tim Volter, the man he brought to the club in the summer. Raised a few eyebrows, as I mentioned, with Liam Rosenior leaving. And he's I think it's fair to say a hands-on owner at Hull City, as Swansea now come forward. The cross swept in, but too far in front of Vipotnik.
Yeah, flashed across the front from Tymon. The conditions are difficult here today. You see the wind affecting the ball on that occasion.
Five defeats at home here so far this season for Hull in their 11 games. 5 draws amongst that as well. Goals have been really hard to find for them. Just 9 so far this season, which is the joint fewest at home in the Championship, along with Portsmouth. But now some room for Louis Coyle to run into, taking Hull City into Swansea territory. Kamara sends in the cross, and it's headed away by Cabango. Positive play from Hull City, first from Coyle and then from Kamara. Play allowed to continue. Longman nods it down, seeking João Pedro. Charlie Hughes encouraged to shoot. Did the sensible thing and just ensured that his side retained possession instead. Here he is once again. Looking for Giles, who's got 3 to aim for in the middle, and it's put wide. It is a bad miss. And it really should have been the opening goal. Good play, bright play, enterprising play from Ruben Selles' side, and Regan Slater will not want to see that again.
Oh, it's a fabulous move, it really is. Charlie Hughes, you know he's excellent on the ball, just rolling it over his foot, and then he finds the run of Giles. That allows Giles to just put it in first time, and Regan Slater completely on his own, 7 or 8 yards out, goal gaping, has to score. That was a huge opportunity for Hull.
Really well worked by Hull City. Regan Slater, and a huge opportunity to get his struggling side into the lead here. All the kinds of positions you would imagine as well that Ruben Sellés will want to see Ryan Giles get into.
He's so good going forward, Ryan Giles. He's got a wand of a left foot, both from a set piece but also onto a running ball. And the weight of the pass from Charlie Hughes was excellent. Just allowed Ryan Giles to step onto it and hit it first time, and can't do any more. He really can't. As I said, 7 or 8 yards out in the middle of the goal. Regan Slater won't get many better opportunities this season to score goals.
Here's Hughes. Plenty of interest in Charlie Hughes before we made the decision to leave Wigan and come to Hull City. He's 21 years of age. Has a bright, bright future ahead of him. Here's Kamara. And it was so well worked by Hull City.
Lovely pass, as I've said, from Charlie Hughes. The cross from Giles is perfect. You see, he's just trying to angle it into that far post. I think he overthinks it a little bit. Just a good contact, and surely he scores. As long as it's the yard either side of Vigoro, the goalkeeper will have absolutely no chance. And he'll be frustrated because it's been a very impressive start from Hull. Swansea like to dominate the ball, they like to control the game, but Hull have definitely looked the more dangerous. Swansea yet to test their opposite number.
He's yet to have an attempt on goal here so far, Swansea City. By Jones, who is one of the 2 changes made to the Hull team here this afternoon. Both managers making a couple of tweaks from 7 days ago. I mentioned Ivo Pandor and how well he's played this season. And Vigoro also having a good campaign for Swansea City. And we can see the early story of the match. Swansea with more of the ball, but not doing too much with it.
Yeah, no touches in the opposition box. That's not good reading for Luke Williams.
Can they change that here as we approach the 20-minute mark? And turned away by Alfie Jones, and Swansea City will have themselves a corner. Second of the afternoon. He's going to have to go over and check. Across goes Thomas Bramall. Just ever so slightly shifted by Timon before he takes this corner. And it comes now. Flicked away by Longburn, and then the clearance is high but not too far away by Stephen Alzati. They've mentioned before kick-off, Ruben Sellés pretty much straight into the action. A couple of games in quick succession, so today perhaps a opportunity for us to get a better idea on how he wants his side to set up, having had a full week of training with them.
Yeah, it will be a true reflection of what he's trying to accomplish at Hull. Say early on, very little time to work with his team on the grass. I imagine there's lots of information he's trying to get across. The first performance against Watford was very good.
All threaded forwards, and Swansea looking threatening, which has been a rare thing so far in this first half. The side who perhaps don't get enough strikes at goal away. Ranked 18th for attempts at goal in the Championship. Piet Harris's cross comes in, and Jones has to head it behind. Better spell this for Swansea. More of the game being played in Hull's defensive third.
Sloppy play from Hull, trying to play at the back. A bit of miscommunication between Ryan Giles and Longman on this left-hand side allows Josh Key to win the ball back. It's just helped into a dangerous area from Pierre Harris. Potnik was waiting, but was well defended. But another corner for Swansea, who are just starting to grow into this match.
And this time it will be Om Ji-sung to take it. Cluster of players just beyond the penalty spot. And it comes now, and Pandor retreats back to his line. Perhaps had a bit of interest in coming to claim that. Here's Josh Key. Not only have Swansea struggled to have attempts at goal in the Championship so far this season, their performance when they get in front of goal hasn't been particularly sharp. XG performance this season, Swansea, the 4th worst in the division. Of the 3 sides that are worst, Hull City are one of them, so perhaps a lack of confidence in front of goal for both teams. Both sides having their moments so far in this game. There's Ryan Giles, who looked to venture forward here. He's got Longman outside of him, looking up, seeing if there's an option inside. That one breaks down, intercepted by Matt Grimes. Of course, Matt Grimes, a player who's having a fantastic season as well, Dave.
Yeah, and that was a clever idea from Ryan Giles. So I think the Swansea City defence was thinking he's going to try and whip it across the front of them, and tries to cut it back, but Grimes reads it incredibly well. Positioning excellent, known for his ability on the ball.
Conditions now a little kinder here at the MKM Stadium as the sun breaks through.
An excellent shape from Hull. You can see there the 4-3-3, very compact, not a lot of space in between each unit, in between defence, midfield and attack, and that's where Swansea find it difficult to find their most influential players, the likes of Cullen.
Cullen, a player who hasn't got in the game too much so far, just the 9 touches for him in the first 25 or so minutes of this match, as Swansea look to work it down the left, and the cross comes in. Did well to keep it in play, but it's easy enough for Ivor Pandor, who wasting no time in coming forward. Slater, he looks to whip in the cross. He's seeking Longman, who does get something on it. He's working hard, isn't he, Ryan Longman? Tenacious player. He'll try to box Swansea in here, and Swansea forced to lift it towards halfway, and Hull are back on the ball with Ryan Giles. That's João Pedro. He looks to get the better of Harry Darling. Perhaps in his frustrations, gives away a very cheap free kick.
Yeah, the better option, I think, would have been just to set Ryan Giles, who was waiting to come onto it with his left foot. Goes for the nutmeg. Harry Darling's position is excellent, just gets himself between Pedro and the ball. And Pedro makes the foul, but more good stuff from Hull. We spoke about the vertical lines that they want to attack in, and that's been very apparent in these early stages. The amount of times Pandor's picked up the ball and just rolled it out to a midfielder, and they've ran really quickly up the pitch of it and took them into an attacking situation.
he did well to find Pierre Harris, but his touch was loose. And it's Giles once again for Hull City, looking to drive forwards. Faced up by Key, and it slams off the Swansea defender. Hull City will have themselves a corner. Will be Ryan Giles to take. A couple of players just in front of Lawrence Figueroa. Now, having had a look at Josh Tymon's placement down at the other end, Thomas Bramall feels the need to come across it. Or in fact, he's actually telling one of the Swansea substitutes to just move himself out of the way.
I was wondering how Ryan Giles is going to navigate around that stretch leg.
In comes the corner. Deep delivery, just turned away by Liam Cullen. Here comes the cross. It's over the head of João Pedro. Neatly worked, and a bit of room here for Puerta to roll it across to find Giles. Against Key could be a key battle here this lunchtime. Push forwards by Giles to find Puerta, who's drifted over to the left. Uses cross and doesn't get the execution he was looking for, but Longman wasn't giving it up and he keeps it in play. Three players waiting for the cross to come in, but it's overhit and we're not making the most of that situation.
Yeah, disappointing cross after a real sustained period of pressure from Hull. Both fullbacks in particular, Ryan Giles and Louis Coyle, putting in excellent deliveries, overlapping their wingers who themselves, Kamara and Longman, both want to come inside on their favoured foot, and that gives the space down the outside for the fullbacks to really join in, and both have such good quality with their deliveries. Just need to flood the box a little bit more with bodies.
Again, we see that Hull City shape, and Nkabango trying to find a way forwards. In the end, he decided not to do so. But now there is some room for Key here. Sweeps in the cross, and a first effort on goal. The afternoon for Swansea comes after 31 minutes, and it comes through Vipotnik.
Swansea realising they can't go through the middle of the pitch, so Josh Key opts to stay wide, and he's the outlet. It's a hopeful ball really into the box. It's the first time that Alfie Jones hasn't been first to the ball. It's a difficult finish for Vipotnik, just it bounces in front of him. He does well to keep it down, but doesn't get the power in it to really test Pandore. But slightly better from Swansea after a disappointing opening half an hour.
It is Hull City who have looked the more likely so far, the team which start the weekend rock bottom of the championship table. They've got some tricky games ahead of them as well. A trip to Deepdale on Boxing Day. More on that in a moment as João Pedro looks to link up here with Puerta, and he's done so. Puerta's strike hits the post, comes back off Figueroa. That could have gone anywhere. And a huge sigh of relief for the Swansea keeper. But yet more reason for encouragement here for Hull City, who were just inches away from opening the scoring through Puerta.
Yeah, fabulous awareness from João Pedro in the build-up, just to nod it down into Puerta's path. As he gets there, shows excellent composure, just to take the extra touch onto that left foot, then unleashes a vicious half volley, crashes against the post, and then inadvertently Figueroa manages to turn it over his bar.
In comes the corner. Well, luck is in Lawrence Figueroa. Back off his heel and spun behind for a corner. A moment of good fortune for him and for Swansea City. Giles with a deep delivery. Will run all the way through to Puerta. Hull can go again here. Switch of play, seeking Giles. It was an awkward one for him, but he does well to get it down to Hughes, who gives it him back, but he just drifted whilst doing that into an offside position.
It's unfortunate. He worked hard to keep the ball in and didn't have time to get himself back onside. But this Hull team doesn't look like a team that's bottom of the league. Very impressive. Ruben Seller's already leaving his mark on the style of play.
Of course, these Hull City players under Tim Volter, we all knew their style of play and it wasn't bringing them results, so they'll perhaps feel refreshed as well to be going about their business in a different manner, with a different approach. It's been a positive start to the day for them, but no reward for it so far. Sellers has spoken about his team wanting to be vertical, to be aggressive, to get the ball forwards quickly.
We've seen that ball a lot more as well in this opening 33 minutes, where there isn't a pass on for the centre-back, so they go direct into Pedro. He has the ability to hold the ball up for his team. Hasn't been used much this season.
Zatic. Now João Pedro looking to creep it towards goal, and it's found its way in. Sneaks past Lawrence Vigouroux. And João Pedro strikes again, and it is a lead that Hull City deserve. They came close just a couple of minutes ago, but this time they make it count. Hull City 1, Swansea City 0.
They thoroughly deserve the lead, and they've had better chances than this one. Clever little dummy in the build-up from Alzate, and then João Pedro's just trying to fire it into that far post, trying to open up his body. But they get a little bit of luck. They get the deflection off Kabanga, and then Vigouroux has absolutely no chance. He's set, he's moving to his left as the shot comes in, can't switch his body weight quick enough to come back. João Pedro's been excellent in this first half. Maybe Hull deserve a little bit of luck after their impressive play so far. Lovely little touch there from Alzate. If you don't shoot, you don't score. And João Pedro gets his reward, and Hull get their reward as well, deservedly in front.
They haven't been playing like a side who are bottom of the table, and a victory today could give them a real boost. It could get them out, or it will get them out of the relegation zone. The opening goal coming 11 minutes before half-time through João Pedro, who strikes for a second successive game. How will Swansea respond here? I don't expect them perhaps to change their approach too much, as they get it forwards quickly again, Hull City. Here's Longman, João Pedro and Kamara up with him inside the penalty area. It goes to Giles. Goal for João Pedro, his fourth in the Championship this season. Now it's Coyle. His cross comes in, Vigouroux makes a mess of it. He can't take it in, Longman's there. Bouncing around, the effort came in from Puerta. A little bit shaky from Swansea. On the ropes right now.
Carnage inside that Swansea box. Multiple opportunities, none of them clear cut, but good work again from Hull, who are keeping the pressure on. Ball into a dangerous area. Longman's in a position, Vigouroux doesn't look comfortable. And then the second effort then from Puerta crashes into Longman as the opportunity goes, but more good, positive stuff from Hull.
They've scored one. They could have had two or three here already, Hull City. Going at home for the final time in the calendar year, and to end what has been a difficult last few months of 2024. Here at home on a high.
And a penny for the thoughts now of Luke Williams, because if he wasn't happy with that second half against Sunderland, he must be seething with this first half against Hull. You see there the stats there. It's all Hull really, one shot and one on target, but it was tame from Vipotnik. It's been a non-event for them in this first half. Hull in complete control. And Luke Williams surely will if it continues like this through to half-time, will have a lot to say to his team in that dressing room.
I can't imagine his words were particularly soft at full-time last week, and Swansea don't sort their act out over the next 8 minutes or so. There might be some harsh words again in that Swansea changing room at half-time. Barely laid a glove on Hull City so far here. A long way to go in the afternoon. Might be something on for them here. Laid off by Vipotnik. Gert Harris has not got into too many dangerous positions so far. He finds Key. Harry Darling floats it out to the far side. Ji Sung. Here's Cullen. Ji Sung with a bit of room just outside the area. Tries to find Cullen. He had 3 players there who were more towards the far post that he perhaps could have looked to pick out, just trying perhaps to be a little too intricate. He's not happy, is he, Luke Williams? That expression tells you everything. He said he didn't come to Swansea to be average. He feels his side are a pretty average side right now with their position in the league table, 10th in the Championship. Expects that he will be busy in January when the opportunity comes again to bring players to the club. Perhaps 3 signings would be realistic for what we want to do. Similar number of players to come through the door is the target of Ruben Selles at Hull as well. Since he doesn't need a new group of players, they need just 2 or 3 who can come in and make a difference straight away in the starting 11. But plenty of these players out there for Hull City right now, making sure they put themselves in the mind of their head coach.
It's the organisation out of possession which has been so impressive for Hull, really restricting Swansea to very little.
Josh Key deep down the pitch. Darling. He's going to go for it here. It took a nick on its way through. Swansea City have a corner. Harry Darling a long way out, but he fancied giving it a go.
Took matters into his own hands. Not been able to play through this whole side, and he has the space in front of him. Shifts it onto that right foot. Alzate does fly out to him and gets that little bit of a deflection. Pandor is always in control of the situation. See there the wind, how much it's causing an issue for these players, and maybe that's helping Hull more than Swansea.
Timon with a low delivery this time. Grimes now on the edge of the area, straight against Louis Coyle, who limps away. Gert Harris. Swansea still with everybody forwards here. Grimes is going to send it in, and it's Coyle who's there once again. Timon. Here comes the cross, and it's a brilliantly taken header to get Swansea back level. Well, he took it into his own hands a moment ago, and he's done it again there, Harry Darling. They haven't offered much going forwards. Those Swansea City supporters much happier now, even if there is not too much emotion on display from Luke Williams. Hull 1, Swansea 1.
Yeah, out of absolute nowhere, and it's all down to the cross from Time, and he's running away from goal. The easy pass is just to go out to that left-hand side, but he puts an absolutely delicious ball into the box. Lots of whip, lots of pace on it. That means that Darling, if he can meet it on time, all he needs to do is just direct it. The pace is on the ball, and boy, does he do that. Terrific header. Low down is that right-hand corner. Difficult technique. Pandor absolutely no chance in goal for Hull. And Swansea, with a little bit of luck, have found themselves level.
Did really well there, Harry Darling, and those supporters who have come a long, long way, nearly 300 miles up to Hull for this lunchtime kickoff. Now perhaps just starting to enjoy their day a little more. Swansea managing to level things up as we move towards half-time. Second championship goal of the season for Harry Darling, having scored in that thriller at home against Leeds United a few weeks ago. Well, how will that affect Hull City? Because they've been playing with confidence. They've been the better team, the more threatening team. And hard work to get ahead has now been cancelled out. Have the free kick here, Swansea. The challenge by Coyle. Swansea players not happy with it either.
He's a competent player, isn't he, Louis Coyle, and does catch Liam Cullen as he's played the ball.
And he has picked up a yellow card, Louis Coyle, and that is his 5th booking of the season, so he will not be available for the trip to Deepdale on Boxing Day. Grimes standing over this Swansea free kick. It's a tough run of games coming up, as I mentioned, for Hull City. Deepdale on Boxing Day, then they go to Ewood Park to close out 2024. And Middlesbrough and Leeds at home, so they'll play 3 sides in succession who right now are all in the top 6 of the table. To find a route to safety, Dave, then they have to start finding some form here at home and picking up results. 1 win from 11 games, just no way near good enough.
Absolutely not, but their performance has been excellent in this first half. You must say, from the position where Timon crosses the ball, it is a half chance at that point of view. Maybe the defenders can get a little bit tight to make sure they're picking up the danger man. Harry Darling definitely being that one. It's an excellent header from the centre-back, though. Say left hands or no chance, but Hull have created enough chances to be 2-3-0 ahead before Swansea get that opportunity. But they just need to reset, keep doing what they were doing, which is bringing them joy. Don't let Swansea's confidence build too much.
G sunk. Potnick waiting in the middle. Fulton's made a burst into the box as well. Riyad Harris floats one in, but it goes straight through to Ivor Pandor. Tick into stoppage time at the end of this first period, and it's just an extra minute which is going to be tagged on to the end of it. Half-time at the MKM Stadium, and a first half in which Hull City got themselves in front, having been the better side. João Pedro's goal, putting them 1-0 up on 34 minutes. But they'll head down the tunnel, frustrated that they couldn't see that lead through to half-time. Harry Darling with a brilliantly taken header to bring Swansea level. That came on 42 minutes. An interesting, intriguing game here as Hull City look to get themselves off the foot of the table, as Swansea are looking to push themselves closer to the playoff places. Half-time here is Hull City 1, Swansea City 1. Same from his players, because there was plenty to be positive about for Hull City then.
Yeah, you don't want the disappointment of conceding late in the half to affect your second half performance. They'll be wanting them to start the game as they, or start the second half as they started the game, and that was mainly very organised, energetic and aggressive with the way they pressed, and it's brought lots of rewards. Patience, when Swansea are building up, not going to press too early, but when they do decide to press, they do it together, and they really try and swap that Swansea defence midfield, win the ball back, and obviously when they win the ball back, then can we attack quickly while Swansea are wide open? And they've done it really well. They create some really good chances, and they have to take a lot of positives from that. I'm sure the fans will be feeling a lot more positive than they were maybe a few weeks ago. But they'll need to come out to the second half, and it's important they start winning games here at the MKM. So they'll see this as a huge opportunity, especially with a tough run of fixtures to come up.
As Dave said, needing to find wins here at home. Just the one so far this season, and that came all the way back in September. For Swansea, what do you think the approach will be from Luke Williams? You said at one point in the first half that they weren't getting their influential players involved in the game enough.
Yeah, they weren't, especially the likes of Liam Cullen and Om Ji-sung, Piet Harris, very, very quiet. They're the players they want to try and get on the ball in behind the Hull City midfield, but I think the organisation of what Hull have done has made it very difficult for them. So maybe a slight change in tactics. We saw Josh Key maybe hugging the touchline a little bit more as the half went on, rather than moving inside to try and create that overload in midfield, try and go around the sides of Hull and get crosses into the box. But Popnik is a threat when crosses do come in. So maybe a slight change in tactics from the Swansea manager, but at the same time they just need to be playing with a lot more attacking intent. It was far too slow in that first half from Swansea.
Swansea back out already for the second half, as we see Harry Darling took his head up wonderfully well. He really did. An awful lot to do to beat Pandor, but he the ball beyond him as Hull City now make their way out here for this second half. A final home game of 2024 for them. Can they find a win? The first win it would be under Ruben Selles. Joao Pedro, who got them into the lead, who's had the fewest touches of the ball in the game so far, but he had one very telling one indeed, although he had fortune on it as well, as the ball deflected off Ben Cabango. Figaro, but Selles, knowing that he has 3 more games with these players before he can perhaps look to bring others in. It's a boding run ahead for Hull City in the games that are to come on the immediate horizon. So it perhaps places a bit more importance on trying to find something here today. Hull City coming into the afternoon, bottom of the table. In just 45 minutes time, if they can find a victory, they'll be out of the relegation zone. It's going to be some scrap down there. And of course, Davis, you would know at this time of year you can get a few results in quick succession, and all of a sudden the outlook of a season can look very different indeed.
Yeah, it certainly can. I'm enjoying it much more since I've finished playing football this Christmas period. As a player, it's non-stop, and you do have to put your festivities on hold and concentrate on the recovery and the quick turnaround in games. But it can really change your season. If you have a good run of results in this period, then all of a sudden you're looking up the table, and vice versa. If you're not so good and losing games, then it can be quite worrying.
How difficult is this part of the season for a footballer? Is it a part of the season they enjoy, or is it one that perhaps is one that they just want out the way?
I think you enjoy the match days. I think in particular the Boxing Day games bring a lot of atmosphere in the stadiums.
Kamara looking to get on the end of this as it's pushed forwards by Slater. Darling deals with it. It's one of the great days, Boxing Day, on the English football calendar.
So the games themselves are good, but the training and around it, that as a footballer isn't as fun. You can't indulge as much as what I would do now as a retired footballer, enjoying the Christmas dinner. You have to be so conscious of what you're eating, when you're eating, and obviously not to eat too much. And then a lot of teams will train on Christmas Day as well, so lots thrown into the mix to compete with, but it was the best job in the world, so you're willing to train a few extra days over Christmas.
Of course, as we saw in the first half, Louis Coyle, who we see there, he won't now be in action on Boxing Day for Hull City, having picked up his 5th portion of the season. There's 3 treading the tightrope as well for Swansea here this afternoon. Josh Tymon, Ben Cabango, and Gonçalo Franco, who begins the day on the bench, having been dropped from the starting lineup. Ruben Selles in discussion down in his technical area. Williams has held the same pose that you saw there pretty much all through the game, arms behind his back, watching on. Sent on by Coyle as he looks to switch play and Ryan Longman into the game, and he gets there ahead of Josh Key. Alfie Jones. Coyle onto Kamara. It's faced up by Timon, pushes the ball past him, but puts too much on it and it runs out of play.
Swansea working incredibly hard out of possession there to force Hull back into their own half. They had a good position on that left-hand side with Ryan Giles and Longman. Looks like they had an overload at one point. Swansea got their numbers back quickly and forced this Hull City team back. It gives them a chance now to attack themselves.
Timon being adventurous and then linking up with Ji Sung, who can't get the better of Coyle, but he does have to concede a corner. City fans questioning the placement of that, but as we saw, the ball clearly overhanging the quadrant as Timon looks to pull it back here. Break to Josh Key.
Yeah, it's a corner they try quite often, trying to find Grimes on the edge of the box. Scored an absolute thunderbolt at Luton with that corner routine, but
ball played forwards here, up into the whole penalty area, headed on. Headed back out by Alfie Jones. The offside flag has gone up over on the far side.
Yeah, I was about to say, Jay Fulton was acting as the blocker for the corner. It might have been easier for him just to turn around himself and have a shot. He's too interested in the Hull defender. He's that ball back into the box. Very good line from Hull. So their organisation's been very good so far in this game.
And João Pedro launches it forwards and he's looking to find Longman, but it runs through to Vigouroux. And back to that Swansea set piece. Of course, there's so much discussion now about set pieces. Do you feel that teams are putting more effort into set pieces, more time on the training ground than perhaps they were a few years ago, or is it just that we're seeing new things happen in those situations?
I think there's been always a lot of time on the training ground spent on set pieces, but I think the people maybe delivering the sessions has become different. There's expert set piece coaches which are being used, especially at the top level. Not so much just the manager or the goalkeeper coach used to be very popular when I was playing. That would be the person in charge of set pieces for and against, but you know how important it is. Matches are won and lost with set pieces all through the football pyramid, so it has to take up a majority of usually the day before a match, so on the Friday, going through them, making sure everyone knows their jobs. But I do think there's different types of set pieces coming now. There's a lot more adventurous ones being tried, and as we saw from Swansea with the one cut back to Grimes against Luton, it was a terrific goal. It just shows how important they can be to try and catch the opposition off guard.
Here's Alfie Jones for Hull City. Of course, one thing that will be being considered right now by both managers will be the rotation and keeping players fit and not asking too much of them through the festive period. All the numbers will be getting analysed somewhere in the stadium, and the time will come to make changes with those other games to come in quick succession. Certainly game-changing options on both benches here this afternoon as Jones plays it back to Pandor. He hasn't actually had a great deal to do so far in this game, Ivor Pandor. Here's Grimes. Timon gets it back from Ji Sung. Grimes again. Now Darling. Swansea happy to be patient in their approach. Unable to step in, and Hull City are on their way here. They've got 5 forward in this attack. Slater. Now João Pedro. Never quite seem in control of that situation, João Pedro. Ryan Giles just hangs up the cross-figure route. And he's got a good long look at it, and he comes and makes a clean claim.
Yeah, excellent from Hull, though. Again, patient, out of possession, but when the opportunity comes, Salzato actually breaks out to try and press the Swansea defence, and then Longman wins the ball back, and they attack quickly. There's a few opportunities that Slater had just to release the ball. It ends up at the feet of João Pedro, who takes a heavy touch, but they still keep the attack alive, and a cross comes in from Giles. That's been the best bit of play from Hull in this second half.
Fulton slides in. Hughes steps forward. As well, again, showing his ability with his feet. The intended pass was to play Kamara in. Timon. It's out by Alfie Jones, who was on the stretch. Beaten in 3 away games. Swansea a victory at Plymouth in their last game. The 2 before that, a victory at Derby by the same scoreline, and a 1-1 draw against Luton as well. Potnick working hard, but Hull can now come forwards with Hughes. Almost worked it well. Giles was in a bit of room there, but the ball was just too far in front of him.
Yeah, it's unlucky. Charlie Hughes again taking it upon himself to be the one who makes that attacking pass, but looking very assured and composed playing out the back, which hasn't always been the case this season. Pandor starts a lot of the attacks himself, very confident on the ball, as well as the 2 centre-backs have been. They've done it without taking any risks either.
Certainly felt a bit more frantic under Tim Volter in the way that Hull City would look to play from out of those deep positions. Ball played forward, João Pedro showing plenty of endeavour. Darling, as Hull City trying to steal possession back, and Kamara gives away the free kick.
Darling does extremely well under here because he's under a lot of pressure from the Hull City attackers. Pedro, you feel at this point here, Pedro can just keep him one way, gives him the opportunity to Cruyff himself out of trouble. And Kamara's there a second too late, but good play though from Harry Darling.
Cruyff your way out of trouble. Not necessarily something you'd want from a defender, but like you say, he's very capable with his feet, isn't he, Harry Darling? In his 3rd season now at Swansea. I imagine not too many managers would want their centre-halves in such situations, but of course, if you take risk, it can bring reward. Here's Kamara. He's been on the fringes of the game so far. Slater's cross takes a deflection. City forced to go backwards. A few groans around the stadium, but they've retained possession. And the ball does get played forwards and they lose the ball. Vigouroux, confident with his feet as well, but he's forced to clear that away. It goes out of touch. Kamara, he's got a bit of room here, and Hull have got plenty of players forward. In comes the cross. Put it away to the edge of the area. Ji Sung. And he's played João Pedro in here, Matt Grimes. João Pedro forced to go wide. Longman could perhaps go to him. It's still João Pedro. Still João Pedro. He's going to strike, and the longer that went on, less and less likely that Hull could capitalise. Matt Grimes mightily relieved there, though.
Vigouroux does extremely well to get a hand on the ball, because if Pedro can get round him, he'll have a tap in, but forces him out wide. And João Pedro just delays then his pass. Longman made a run, then there's another midfield run, which I think he should just helped it into the area for, but opted to go himself. And that allows Swansea to get bodies back in, but Matt Grimes will be relieved. It's unlike him, played the ball back blind. Didn't realise João Pedro was there, but he got away with it.
Here's Fulton. Now Grimes. Now Timon, and he's got a bit of room here. Vipotnik makes his move in the middle, and it might come his way. Couldn't get the touch. Comes in again, and Condor able to gather it in, but opportunity there for Swansea, and Vipotnik just couldn't stretch out enough.
Another unbelievable cross it really was from Josh Timon, put into such a dangerous area, and the outstretched leg of Vipotnik couldn't quite get on the end of it. But big chances at both ends.
Reached the hour mark here. Level between these two teams. Both sides coming up with opportunities. Free kick taken quickly, but play is pulled back, and Hull are annoyed with the referee Thomas Bramall as they sensed an opportunity there.
I love that intensity from Hull, though. Here's the cross from Timon into the corridor of uncertainty. The goalkeeper can't come for it. Alfie Jones can't get to it, and Vipotnik couldn't get through it. Here's the big chance for Pedro. Vigouroux, excellent body position, goes at the right time to ground, gets that important touch on it. Just an opportunity there where Pedro could have just helped it back into the box, wants to go himself. In the end, the chance comes to nothing. This touch by Vigouroux is so important. As I said, there's just a moment there. There's a midfield runner into the box who wasn't picked up. Big chances at both ends.
But it remains at 1-1 as Mason Burstow comes on for Hull City, on as a substitute for a sixth successive game. And it's not the only change they've made as well. Xavier Simons also into the action for Hull City. Kamara and Alzate, the two players who have been replaced. A couple of substitutes to have up your sleeve for Ruben Selles. Can they make an impact here? Feeling there's going to be a twist or two still to come in this game, with both sides intent on turning 1 point into 3.
Yeah, good changes from Ruben Selles. Players will bring on some fresh energy, but Simons in the middle will bring a lot of control, and then Burstow finds himself in so many good positions. He will think himself more of a striker, but he has been played out wide on a number of occasions, but he does find good pockets of space and does get chances.
Back involved today for the first time since November the 30th. Simons, now a chance here for Burstow to break forward. Has he gone too early? The flag stays down. Puerta into João Pedro. Slater, Coyle, Longman. Cross towards the far post, the header back across from Burstow, but it goes through to Vigouroux.
Longman switched wings, so he's heading for the byline to get it onto his right foot, and hangs a good ball up at the back post. Burstow's position's good. Just head it back across the goal rather than towards goal then. João Pedro might have been able to get on the end of it. But Hull of the team again who are pushing to try and get this second goal.
Sensing an opportunity here against the Swansea side that left their manager frustrated last weekend. Josh Key in some pain right now. And this is the reason why. Clutter with a robust challenge, I think it's fair to say.
It certainly was. Josh Key, eyes on the ball, and gets caught. It's Luke Williams' turn to make some substitutions.
So Ronald comes on, getting dropped down to the bench here today. He takes the place of Om Ji-sung. Potnik is also going to depart. Couldn't quite get on the end of that ball into the box a couple of minutes ago. Chances have been at a premium for him. On comes in his place Florian Bianchini. Double changes made by both bosses. Burstow will give chase, and it forces Vigouroux to just launch it long first time.
Hull not happy again. Referee pulling the game back for the offside. They're in a good position going forward. That's been a big feature of their play, going into João Pedro early. There's excellent touch, excellent awareness, bringing other players into play.
Here's Slater. Looking to come forward again. João Pedro was pointing as to where he wanted the ball to go. Crosses charge down. Pierre Harris doesn't feel as if he's been involved in the game too much so far. And Cullen talking very highly of him before this game. They said he's really enjoyed linking up with him in this position that he's been playing in recent weeks. Now Ronald just descending across, but it's disappointing and easily cleared away. It's a good idea, but Timon able to cut that out and just roll it back to Vigouroux. Is busy in his technical area, whereas Timon's able to advance under no real pressure. Bianchini, did it strike his arm? Indeed it did. He found himself in an area of space there, and that was a bit of an opportunity for Swansea, which they weren't able to make the most of.
Yeah, it was an opportunity, and Josh Timon has been Swansea's best attacking player. Some excellent deliveries into the box. This time it's more of a pass into the path of Bianchini. Really should do better. Just a loose first touch, maybe a little bit cold after just coming on, but if he could kill it dead with that first touch, then they've had an opportunity to get a shot away on Ivor Pandor's goal.
He's a player that's been performing a role as a substitute this season. He's only started a couple of games. This is 13th appearance off the bench. Free kick goes Hull City's way.
Great tenacity from Burstow to win the ball back. Again, that's another feature of Hull's play, how aggressive they've been to try and put Swansea under pressure in those moments. They've not given up, and lots of determination.
There's certainly one who will feel that he's due a bit more game time, Mason Burstow. He's only started a couple of times this season. Ball forward seeking João Pedro. Difficult for Cabango, and play is going to be pulled back here.
Excellent movement again from João Pedro. If she had the extra yard of pace, he'd really be causing this Swansea backline some problems. Can't quite get away from the centre-backs when the ball is played in behind. The initial movement is excellent.
Attempts at goal have been few and far between in this second half. We've only had a couple of them, and they both come from Hull City. Swansea looking to change that as it was flicked away, and Hull City are on the front foot once again. Longman, can he get inside Timon? Unable to do so. Good defending from the Swansea fullback. We've seen his skills going forwards, but a good piece of defensive play.
Yeah, it's all about his position as well. He didn't want to leave too much a gap on the inside for Longman to run into. Keeps that gap small between him and Harry Darling. That allows him to make the change, trying to force him out wide. And maybe that's the option Hull should have taken as well. It's a difficult pass.
From Swansea aside that are used to being on the ball, but Hull City have had more of it in this second half. You can see the shots have been coming from Ruben Sellers' side. 7 in the game so far. But will not please Luke Williams. Just 4 from his team, a couple each on target, as you can see. João Pedro sliding in. It's been a tenacious Tigers performance so far. Now they have a long road ahead of them as Longman looks to send in the cross. Some half-hearted appeals for a handball. Ronald. Well, to just delay that now. Cullen. You can see over the course of the match, Swansea have had more of the ball, but it hasn't been that way since half-time. Possession 53% in Hull City's favour since the restart. Ronald once again. Fulton clips in across, and that one nodded behind. It will be a Swansea corner.
Clever ball by Fulton. Just trying to find the run. It's well marshalled in the end by Charlie Hughes. Followed the run all the way across the box.
This time it will be Grimes. Just overhanging the quadrant. So what have they got in store this time? Deep delivery. The header back across, and it comes off the post from Cabango. And it's swept over the top by Pierre Harris. Well-worked routine, and it so nearly had Swansea in front.
Another one off the training ground, and Hull could have found themselves behind. Try and work the space for Darling at the back post. You can see Cabango making the block. Or Pierre Harris, sorry, making the block, and it's headed back across to Cabango. And really, the Welsh international should score as it comes back across. He's just trying to flick it goalwards. Maybe the presence of Ryan Giles just does enough to put him off, but that's a huge opportunity for Swansea. You look very dangerous from these dead ball situations. Creating that space for Darling. Cabango will be really disappointed he hasn't hit the back of the net.
Both sides denied by the frame of the goal here this lunchtime. Change for Hull City whilst that was happening. Cody Drame has come on for Louis Coyle. Hull City on the longest run in the EFL without a victory. October the 1st, the last time they won a game. Fewest points picked up in the EFL in that time with just 4. This game here very much in the balance as Fulton emerges with possession. Just a touch too eager there, gives away the free kick. We don't want to call this right now. Both teams having their moments when they're causing concern for the other. Vigouroux knocks it out of play.
It's finely balanced at the moment with 20 minutes or so remaining. Intriguing game. I think Hull have had the better of it, but Swansea won't mind being in the position they're in. They feel that Hull will want to try and open up and try and get this winner, and you know how deadly Swansea can be. We've seen that already. They haven't as many chances as Hull, but they've hit the back of the net. with the fresh legs of the substitutes as well. They'll be confident they can go and take this game away from Hull.
Did not finish the game well last week against Sunderland, but looking to finish this one strongly. Goals have started to come for the visitors. Ruben Selles looking pensive in his technical area. Swansea, 12 goals in their last 6 games. They'd only scored 11 through their first 15 matches of the season. Possession given away by Grimes. Huerta, options left and right. He goes down, and now a free kick in a prime position here for Hull City. And the yellow card is out for Matt Grimes, who was perhaps just a little too keen to make up for his error.
Yeah. Cynical from Grimes, trying to make up for that giveaway from him, but it's a good foul really, because they had an overload on that far side, Hull, and if Puerta could have got that pass away to Longman, he'd be one-on-one with Vigouroux. So Grimes opts to bring his man down, hoping his chances are better from a free kick rather than a 1v1, which would have been an opportunity for Hull.
But an awkward one perhaps, because it is very close to the edge of the penalty area. Ideally, Hull would prefer this to be maybe 5 or 6 yards further back.
Yeah, it's a difficult one to get up and over so quickly. But again, if they can be a little bit more adventurous themselves, Hull, they can move the ball and try and get it around the wall. That could be an option, especially Ryan Giles' left foot. Just move it a yard to the left, get it stopped, and then allow him to go low and hard around the wall.
Being put together right now. With Grimes just to the side of it. Will it be João Pedro? Or will it be Ryan Giles? Vigouroux still doing his organising. Stadium holds its breath here. Big moment in the game perhaps. Pedro feigns. Ryan Giles steps up and crashes it straight into the Swansea wall. I'll be disappointed with that. Into the final 15 minutes here. Burstow does well, has a go at goal, and it very nearly got away from Vigouroux. And João Pedro looking to pounce.
A lovely little turn on the edge of the box, allows Burstow to get that. The space first touch is excellent, then gets out of his feet. He's trying to bend it in that far corner, doesn't catch it great. Bobbling its way into Vigouroux, has to gather it at the second attempt as João Pedro's right there ready for a tap-in.
Moments ago, Gustavo Puerta did pick up a yellow card for Hull City. Dissent, the reason why Thomas Bramall showed him the card, as Hull City again looking to get on with business here. And Giles waiting for some options. Bit of discussion going on with Thomas Bramall and a couple of players, and Ryan Giles will leave it for Ryan Longman, and that is the signal for Charlie Hughes to come forward. Comes Alfie Jones. Longman sends it in, didn't really get the distance on it. The run-up was loaded with intent. Being encouraged on by their supporters, who've just seen a solitary win here so far this season. Slater, ball into the box behind João Pedro. They're working themselves into good situations at times. João Pedro frustrated, but he couldn't get on the end of that.
And Slater opts to cross the ball early. He's got his head up. Burstow was in a lot of space, a little bit closer to him. Well defended in the end by Swansea. João Pedro trying to get across the front of his man, but it's well marshalled by Swansea. As you can see Burstow on the left of your screen now. I think he's the better option there, but it's put into a dangerous area. But Cabango does well just to usher João Pedro out of the way. Good positioning by Josh Key as well at that back post.
Right, just picking up a knock there. Speaking of Josh Key, it doesn't feel perhaps as if he's been able to get into those areas where he was able to influence the game as much as he did in the first half. It's Hull that have been perhaps on top of things since the restart, but of course Swansea have had their moments as well. It was a difficult game to call as the strike is taken on from a long, long way out. Charlie Hughes having a go.
Steps out of defence, such elegance, doesn't he, Charlie Hughes? Ball playing centre-back. Steps past the Swansea midfield and wants to take it upon himself. Yeah, doesn't quite catch the ball.
And coming forwards again, fantastic effort! Mason Burstow makes his impact off the bench. A brilliantly taken goal, and Ruben Selles, well, could this be the day that he gets his first victory as Hull City boss? This could be a huge win for them to lift them off the foot of the table. Wonderful from Mason Burstow.
We said Burstow has the ability to create problems for the opposition with the positions he picks up, but it's a poor distribution from Vigouroux, which gives him the opportunity, but still an awful lot of work to do from the youngster. Just takes his time, gets his head up at the last moment and fires it into that far corner. He tries to do it a little bit earlier and dragged it towards the goalkeeper. On this occasion he gets it spot on. Terrific hit from Burstow. And over this opening 18 minutes, you must say Hull deserved the lead.
And that is why Ruben Selles brought him on, and you can see him pumping his chest there. He's fired up, Ruben Selles. I said this week that one victory was all that they needed to just get themselves going. The focus is purely on just getting out of the relegation zone, and then they can look to build. Less than 10 minutes to play. And they find themselves in a winning position here. Not a lot of time for Swansea to work with. Although, of course, they did find an equaliser 8 minutes after falling behind in the first half. But I think we saw there what Mason Burstow is all about.
Yeah, I'm sure he'd be preferred to play through the middle, but he's coming in off that left-hand side, and a little bit of luck the way he receives the ball, but it really is an excellent finish. Composed finish as well. When you have that much time, you can overthink it, but gets the ball under control, sets it up nicely to hit it, and then the execution of the shot was perfect.
Of course, there will be questions asked over the distribution of Lawrence Vigouroux. His distribution perhaps hasn't been on point through the afternoon. So can Swansea, for a second time, get themselves back level? There's Grimes under pressure. He never looked comfortable there. Now Longman. Ryan Longman off the post. That might have wrapped it up for them. Now Puerta. Big moment in the game. It could have been perhaps all over right there.
Again, they win the ball high up the pitch. They pick Grimes' pocket, and then Burstow finds Longman. He doesn't do a lot wrong, does he? Does what you're taught to do as a kid. Let's go back across the goalkeeper, and it bounces into that far post. I do feel, well, these Hull fans certainly will feel they'll want that third goal to make it a little bit more comfortable. Later it goes, they will get nervy, but I think this is a real true representation now for the first time of what a Ruben Selles teams look like. He's had time on the training pitch to work with them, and this high intensity pressure, which is hard to do physically, but they've done it at the right times and really working well for his side.
Fortune that the ball came back off the post, but also that it spun out of harm's way. And the target once again here. We could see him struggling a few moments ago with the efforts that he's put in today, but his feet are looking pretty fresh there as he tries a bit of trickery. Drame. Simons, all City throw.
He's there as well. Hull will just try to conserve their energy. They know that there might be a bit of pressure later on.
Didn't come immediately under Ruben Selles. A draw against Watford and a defeat against Coventry. As they've said, now he's had time to work with his players, and we're starting to see the kind of way in which he wants his side to be. He's been tenacious throughout this game. João Pedro working hard, but not the place perhaps to try that kind of trickery. But he does win the free kick. A bit of a delayed decision by Thomas Bramall.
I don't think his teammates would have been too happy him trying that little Maradona turn in the middle of the pitch, but gets the foul, and just a chance now for Hull just to try and slow the game down.
Going to bring on Marvin Melham here. He's going to come on as they look to try and shore things up. Gustavo Puerta on the ground, getting some help from his teammates, and I dare say it's just the case of trying to take as much time in this situation as he could. Which way should I go off, referee? As he gets pointed to the far side.
The longest way possible, but he's had a good afternoon, Puerta. Full of energy in that midfield. He's been the one breaking forward. He had that attempt which came back off the post, but in general he's won a lot of balls back for his team and started attacks.
So on comes Marvin Melham. And they're sensing a long overdue victory is on its way for Hull City. An early Christmas present perhaps. It may just be some nervy moments for them to negotiate as we tick into the final 5 of the 90.
Today's official match attendance was by HP Railways is 20,924. Thank you for your fantastic support.
Swansea are going to have to step it up here. Here's Fulton. Now Grimes. Searching ball forwards, but lacking the usual accuracy you would associate with Matt Grimes, and Pandor again just making a few more seconds off the clock.
It's not been his best afternoon, has it, Matt Grimes? So often the orchestrator of that midfield, starting all the attacks of Swansea. Hull have put him under a lot of pressure, made it difficult for him. The pitch isn't the best here at the MK. You can see it bobbling around at times. It hasn't really been the afternoon he would have wanted.
So Gustavo Puerta there, just finishing his lap of honour. Williams wasn't happy a week ago. His comments after this, if it stays this way, it will be very interesting, you feel, once again. Swansea haven't had an attempt on target in this second half. Darling under pressure, being forced further and further back by João Pedro. And gives possession to Regan Slater. Longman. Time running out for Luke Williams' side. Darling. Cabango. Drame pushes it forwards. City keeping possession. Drame again. Morgan looking to link up with him, but turnover of possession. But there is the commitment we've been talking about. Regan Slater flying into that challenge.
Yeah, it's what the fans want to see. It's what's demanded from Ruben Sellers, and I must say, since they've got that second goal, they've been very comfortable. There will be pressure, they will come under, I'm sure, but the way they managed the game since then has been very positive. To use the ball well, attack with numbers still, but in a real well-constructed way.
Mancini makes a move, but the ball rolled across to Cabango. Display patience in possession, Swansea, but they need to find some urgency here. Darling. Timon makes his run, frustrated that he wasn't found. Darling sends it into the penalty area, but he's overhit it. And it goes straight through to Ivor Pandor.
Again, it's the shape and the work rate from Hull. They're making the pitch very narrow, trying to force Swansea out wide. Swansea still trying to play those little balls and try and find their dangerous players and opt for the long ball in the end, and it's easy for the whole goalkeeper. So good stuff from Hull. I wouldn't be surprised though if maybe they look at making one more change. You look at João Pedro, looks like he's really run his race at the top end of the pitch, struggling to close down the Swansea centre-backs.
4 minutes for Hull City to negotiate here, and they have the ball where they want it. He's put plenty in today. João Pedro leading the front by example. Drame is all just work the line, and it's João Pedro again. Clear pull on the shirt. Cody Drame. Here's Ronald. Not done too much since being brought off the bench, but his cross comes in now, the header down, but it drifts wide. Cullen getting on the end of it, but he looks to the sky.
He's had very little success, Liam Cullen, this afternoon. He just skips up off a deflection. It comes to Cullen, sees it late, doesn't quite get the contact he wishes, glances it rather than getting any full force behind the header.
City are a couple of minutes away, going from bottom of the table to outside of the relegation zone as things stand. Of course, there is plenty more football to be played today, but all of a sudden the atmosphere, the feel around the club will be very different indeed, as we haven't really had a flare-up so far this afternoon, but just a little spark of emotions there being shown. Got himself involved too much today, Thomas Bramall. He's allowed the game to be played. I just want to give Liam Cullen a talking to here, and not only him, but Xavier Simons as well. And a yellow card for both. A few more seconds to be added on to the 4 minutes that we have added on here, but we are in the 4th minute now. Swansea need something. They need it very quickly indeed. Hughes wins the header. All push forwards, and it's Hughes who is there again. Jones this time gets it away. Timon. Swansea, the 4th minute now. Swansea need something. They need it very quickly indeed. Hughes wins the header. All push forwards, and it's Hughes who is there again. Jones this time gets it away. Timon. Swansea. Grimes to Timon. He sends it into the penalty area, but it skips through to Pandor, and that might just be enough here for Hull City this afternoon.
Well, the relief around the stadium, you can feel it. They think that's enough, but excellent defending from Hull though. Charlie Hughes getting his head on clearances, and then Jones getting a block. Been first to most things this afternoon for Hull.
The Tigers have found their roar here this afternoon. A first victory under Ruben Selles lifts Hull City off the foot of the championship table, and it takes them out of the relegation zone for the time being. Plenty to admire from his side here today, and it was one of his substitutes who won the game for them, Mason Burstow, hands high and all smiles. A fabulous finish from him, and it came with just 10 minutes left to play. Hull City were set on their way this afternoon by João Pedro, who epitomised what they were all about here this afternoon. He worked tirelessly from the front. Hull City, well, they get themselves a victory, a long overdue feeling. Having not won since the 1st of October. A hug for Burstow from Ruben Selles. Hull City with a big win here this afternoon as they beat Swansea City by 2 goals to 1.